Hello folks, Darrel Smith from South Dakota again. It's been a while, I think a month and a half or more, that I haven't made a video. I kind of lost my enthusiasm. I asked myself, why are you doing this? Glenda, my wife, said, you're doing it because when you're dead and gone, your family might like to see you tell your stories via video. So I will attempt to continue. In the beginning, I wrote 25 stories or so before I published the first one. We've published about half of those now, so I got to get busy and start making more. I think I've got maybe as many as 120 stories that can be told. Early on in one of my videos, a young lady left a note and said, "Mr. Smith, I hope you get a microphone." I got a microphone. She said, "I like your stories." So today is the first video with the microphone, and I don't know if it's going to improve the quality or not. I have a kind of a high-pitched voice anyway and a hillbilly accent, so it's difficult to communicate. Well, today I have two stories. They're short, and they're about Vietnam, when I was over there in Vietnam, and they're associated with the Air Force. On several occasions while I was stationed there, they had truce days, and on those truce days, there was no aggressive action taken. We flew, I flew, and other people did too. We flew either observation flights or training flights. So on this one particular truce day, my job was to pretend to be a aircraft that was attacking the Marine Air Station at Da Nang. And so I was to fly up toward the Chinese island of, what is it? I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, a Chinese island, and fly, then turn toward Da Nang, pretending to be an attacking aircraft. Hainan is the name of the island. Well, I flew up there, and I got close enough that I could see Hainan, turned around and headed toward Da Nang, and I told them, let's start the program. This is the beginning of the problem. I'm turning toward Da Nang now. Well, there was a lot of chatter between the radar operators and the Air Force pilots, and the radar operators were giving him vectors and telling them all the information about me, as how fast I was going, what direction I was traveling, and what altitude I was at. Well, they eventually, one of the Air Force guys got me on their radar, and he announced, "I have a radar lock on. I have a lock on. Request permission to fire." And he said it more than one time. Now my aircraft, it was a truce day, and my aircraft was not armed, and I assumed that his wasn't either, but the way he kept insisting that he wanted to fire, he wanted to engage. So anyway, he did not get permission to engage, and we ended that program by me going safely back to my base. Basic conditions we lived in July were not pretty. We lived in tents, and when it rained, and it rained a lot certain times of the year, we would end up with muddy boots and wet uniforms up to our knees maybe sometime. I've flown several times with muddy boots and wet pants. The procedure for us in July was, if we lost a radio or we couldn't get back into the base because the weather was too bad, we would go to Thailand, an Air Force base in Thailand, where the weather almost seemed to be pretty nice, and divert to that field. Well, one day I was leading a 2-plane bombing mission, and my wingman, Sully, and I went out and found our target and tried to put bombs on target, and we were headed back to our base, and the weather was not good, and he lost his radio. I wonder if he really lost it or he just faked it so he can go to Thailand. Anyway, we diverted to Thailand. I led the flight. We went over and landed at the Air Force Base. We were assigned to a BOQ room and told where the officers' club was so we could get something to eat. Well, we went to the officers' club, and it was one of those wet flight suit, muddy boot days, and we walked in the front door, and they denied our entry. They said we were not dressed properly. But there was an option. They let us come around to the back of the building, and there's kind of a little patio or something back there, and we ordered through the back door, and we were able to get something to eat. And I can share with you that the food we got through the back door was a lot better than the food we ate on a regular basis on our base. So there you have it, 2 little stories with the Air Force. They gave us a safe haven so that we'd have a place to land, but they also kind of discriminated against us, and it kind of hit me the wrong way in that we were fighting the same war. We were fighting the same enemy. We were flying combat missions just like they were. And they were part of the United States military. We were part of the military, but we were turned away for that. So it kind of gave me a little bad taste at that time. I got over it. Anyway, that's my story for today. My stories for today. And I wonder if my microphone made any difference in the quality of my voice. Thank you very much.